Hey folks, Challenger Guy 1969 here. This time I'd like to talk about Challengers. So I remember Challengers came back out in 2008, and I remember there was a fair amount of hype, and I saw them, and the Chargers had been out for a couple of years already, and I just liked the look. I really liked the look. It kind of brought me back to my high school days when muscle cars were a big deal. The new Challengers, they had that look. It reminded me of a combination of the late 60s, early 70s Challengers combined with the late 60s, early 70s Camaros. And I love the look of both of those. I really do. So it was then when they came out, and I said, I'm going to have a Challenger someday. I didn't know where, I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I just knew I was going to make it happen. So it was about 2015 ish, and I said, hey, it's time to pull the trigger. So I went out and I started looking, and I found me a Mopar Orange 2000, I can't remember what year, Challenger RT with the graphite racing stripes. And it looked great, it sounded great, it drove great. It didn't work out because the people at the dealership that I was at didn't want to deal with me. They didn't want to work with me. So I went about a mile and a half south to another dealership. And it's funny, I found me a black 2012 Dodge Challenger RT Plus manual transmission, you know, and it fit everything I wanted, and they were willing to work with me, they were willing to deal with me, and I bought that sucker. And I'm not ashamed to say I'm vindictive as hell. I will tell you that. I took that sucker back up to that first dealership, and I pulled up by the salespeople who were not willing to deal with me, not willing to work with me, and I stepped out of the car, and I made a few comments. Not gonna lie. I said, hey, you remember you didn't want to work with me? You didn't want to deal with me? Well, guess what? So and so down the street did. And I bought this sucker, so guess what? You can suck it. Yeah. I'm that guy. I, I say what I mean what I say. I'm not always the nicest guy, but you always know where you stand with me. So, first Challenger ever, 2012 RT Plus manual transmission black. That was my guy. Okay, if you like what you hear, if you like the channel, please by all means hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, drop some comments in down below. What was your first Challenger? What was your first muscle car? It doesn't have to be a Challenger. Let me know what you saw and what you had. Okay, until our next video, have a good one.